Hi, my name is Mike. I'm the owner of MB IoT Network Solutions. Today, I would like to give you a brief overview about the UniFi Dream Machine Pro and the hardware I'm using right now. If you're interested in this hardware, let me know. Let's jump into it. After you log into the Dream Machine, you were greeted by the overview page. You have the network section, you have the protect section in case you have the Wi-Fi camera or the cameras. You have the access section for locks, and you have the beta version of the talk for IP telephones. We go to the network section and we see the current non-beta dashboard for your Dream Machine. I will show you the beta dashboard as well. You see a pretty much very interesting overview of what you see here. You see your latency, you see your throughput, you see what you have, your UDM utilization, you see number of your switches, number of your access points, the current Wi-Fi clients and your guest clients. And down here you see your access point retry rate, and down here you see your Wi-Fi client, the number of Wi-Fi clients. If you want to switch to the modern dashboard, you go here, click new dashboard, save the changes, and then you go back to your new modern dashboard. I personally like the modern one better because it gives me here a more real-time, realistic download and upflow bandwidth or throughput, what I can see. As you see, I have an 100% uptime for the last 6 days, and you see here I have 63 of 64 clients currently connected, and I see here an overview about the OS versions I have connected through my system. You can map out your system, which is pretty interesting because it's buggy. It's a bad thing to see it. So if you look at here closely, I have a Wi-Fi in the office upstairs. There's the UDM Pro down here, and so there's somehow no connection for these two. However, I have only server 146 and my FreeNAS jail connected to the UDM Pro, and everything else goes through Wi-Fi, which is certainly not true. It is true for the ones here for the Wi-Fi's. It's certainly true for the Wi-Fi's, but when you go down here to my switch in the garage, all the servers which are connected directly to the UDM Pro are suddenly somehow connected to the switch in the garage. As well, the Wi-Fi in the garage only holds a few devices, and there are more devices here. For example, the IP cam up here is connected to the Wi-Fi and not through the hub directly. My FreeNAS is connected the same way my disk station and the server are connected directly to the UDM Pro and not through the switch in the garage. So it's a little bit buggy, but it gives you a nice overview about your devices in itself. I don't have added a floor plan yet, but you can have a floor plan here where then your devices are shown there. If you go to devices, show all, and then you have a UDM Pro, you have my switch in the garage, and I have the two Wi-Fi access points in here. All are connected, so you see the status here. And here on the right, if you hover over it, if there's a software update or a firmware update, they will change here to an update button, and you can quickly update it. You have an overview about all the clients you run. So these are my overview, and the beauty is here. You can, for example, here click on this, and then I get a more in-depth overview about what it is, what the IP address is here, where it's connected to. As I said, it's not true. To device fingerprint, statistics, entity packet inspection, what's going on and what this device is doing. I will have a few words later on about this. In general, traffic history, the benefit here in general, you can give this device a name. So if I use this and write here influx server 3 and apply, it will then change here to influx server 3, and I can do this to a couple of other devices as well. So what I have done here so far, you have your statistics, and we are here now at the most important page. If you run a network, you want to know what everything is doing on your network. As I said, this is buggy. I do not believe that I have used 1.36 terabyte in the last 6 days since this is running. I certainly don't have. And if you dig a little bit deeper in here, you will see that this is not adding up at all. So for example, the 4.52 gigabyte here for Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. So if I click, for example, here on LinkedIn, so it says 1.28 gigabyte. You click on LinkedIn, and then you see who is linked in here, and then you see who's using it. Then you see 1.37 gigabyte for the iPhone, the desktop 1.31 gigabyte, and the iPad 600. So all of this is certainly somehow not adding up to the LinkedIn 1.28 gigabyte. And I'm pretty sure this is the same for Facebook. So if you go back, 3.04 gigabyte for Facebook, and then we have here 3.04 for the iPad, and suddenly the iPad is here in twice, have a total of 5.5 or 5.6, and then there's another iPad, which it's very interesting to see. My desktop 75 megabyte for Facebook. So there is a little bit stuff in there which is buggy, and there's some other stuff in here as well where I can show you network protocols, web. Where's my streaming? Did somebody turn? Yes. So I click on, you can turn this on and off if you like. So let me see the streaming, and then you see here streaming media, and suddenly I have 1.15 terabyte from 1.36 terabyte, which is RTSP, which is basically my webcam and my ZoneMinder system. So it's my surveillance cameras outside who are doing this, which are somehow should not run through the UDM Pro, because everything is connected beyond the UDM Pro. And so it is unknown. I'm not the only one. There's a forum, is a couple of very interesting threads in the UDM Pro forum where people discussing the same issues they have here. So it's 1.24 terabyte. Suddenly can go through. Then you see here 1.2 terabyte RDSP, and we click on here. RDSP total stays with 1.2, and then suddenly it's 1.15. So there's a lot of, let's say, to desire here for the future. We have here a couple of insights, which gives you another nice look on your devices. The devices who have a fixed IP, for example, on here. Last seen, first seen, up and down load. Then you have your product, what it is, manufacturer, device type. So you can filter then up here from what I'm doing, and then you can see the last 7 days, all 120 days. It gives you a nice overview of what you had in here. Why I bought it was one thing, first for the statistics you just saw, but if I have a device on here which we're able to log in, I missed in the past to block this device so the device cannot log in. Meaning, if somebody comes over for whatever reason, for example, a babysitter comes over and you give the Wi-Fi password out to this babysitter, and then the babysitting time is over, you would like to block her. Otherwise, she could be outside, connect to your Wi-Fi again, and do whatever this person likes to do in there with cell phone or laptop. So you could block this device then quickly and make sure the device cannot log in. To see this, I have a Wi-Fi, so I have a guest network here where all my external friends, family can go in, and then I can go in here and block them if not necessary. Of course, unblock them if they are allowed back in. So this is Insights Threat Management. So threat management is a very interesting page. I have looked into my traffic log and saw a lot of traffic towards my network. So I have started dependent on what they are trying to do here. So for example, somebody from Canada with a Canadian IP address range. We're trying to do a web application attack, attempted administrator privilege gain. So I have blocked this then. I have blocked this here. So this IP address is now blocked. I do not believe this is the original or a true IP address for this person, whoever uses. I'm guessing what this is then doing through VPN or other means. But I have started, because I saw a lot of traffic from these countries here, Russia, China. So I have started blocking these: Russian Federation, Iran, Hong Kong, North Korea, and China. I saw a lot of traffic towards my server from these countries, knowing that, for example, the manufacturers for my network surveillance cameras to the outside have servers in these countries, where the camera then connects to their servers and tells them, hey, I'm behind this IP address, you can connect me. So I have created therefore this CAMS VLAN network, so they don't have any way to get out, but still there's a lot of interesting traffic coming towards my server. So I have blocked these countries, and therefore I don't see them as often as I. So I can see what kind of attack this was. So this is a CIAMI attack here. Somebody here scanned my network, most likely scanning with Nmap. As I said earlier, there's attempted information leak up here, and then of course the privilege gain. Somebody tried to gain, but I'm taking care of my servers very, very well. Potentially bad traffic up here, and so on. So you all see this. You can do endpoint scans within your own network. Is locked and cannot gain network to the outside. I did not set up a honeypot here, but I certainly could do this. Settings. So I have my Wi-Fi networks here. I have my networks VLANs set up here. I go to security and I can turn on and off my internet threat management. I have it on. I have it set to level 4, which means more security and less performance. But however, the UDM Pro is capable of 3.5 gigabits per second throughput. My internet is not that fast. I can control the threat management by manually, by hand. So I have set it to 4. I can go to 3 here, and then some stuff changes. Or I can go to 1, and you see this one turned off. I'll go back to my 4, and I can turn on and off whatever I would like to do, and how I would like to configure it inside here. Network scanners, I have turned it on. One important thing, you have the option here to just have intrusion detection or intrusion prevention. Of course, I have intrusion prevention, and I advise everybody to do this because it automatically blocks the threat instead of just detection, where you get an email or an alert if something happens, but it's not getting blocked. And once you can react, sometimes it is just too late. The firewall, I have a few firewall rules here. So for example, I block the internet to my IoT LAN, and I'm blocking my IoT, VLAN, and my cameras from going out and traffic coming in. And I have a couple of others in here where then the traffic is blocked. So here, for example, I have blocked 2 IP addresses just to show you how this works. So if you click in your internet threat management of block, and then automatically a rule is created up here. This was the 2 IP addresses. So if you go in your threat internet leave, if you go in here in your traffic log and you click on these here, for example, so this is the IP address 68.150.109.112. You go on block, and then you go back to your firewall, and then you see this one here, 68, the traffic up here, there, down this. Yeah, that's basically all. Under advanced features, you can do port forwarding up here, so you can forward the ports from the outside into your system. You can have dynamic DNS, what I'm doing as well. If you go to your devices, you click on your switch garage. On your switch, you can control your switch or your Wi-Fi from here. So there's no need to log into the devices. You can basically control everything what you want to do from here. You have your clients, you have your configuration, and basically you can really do everything from here. You have your tools in your garage. So for example, I know this is, for example, here my downlink to my Wi-Fi. I know this here is the uplink going to the UDM Pro. And then I have, for example, here, because I have a device which is only 10.100, and up here, here's another 10.100. So you see where you have your bottlenecks, or might be bottlenecks up as well here, or all of your others. If you click on one, it's changing here. So for example, port 14. I know that port 14, for example, is my business VLAN set up. So only traffic for the business VLAN goes through there, compared to, let's say, port 16, where all traffic is allowed over it. So you can really select this a little bit. So port 15, for example, up here, I know it's only my cameras, and the same is true, for example, for this one, where only my cameras are allowed to go over. So you really have the option of having a great managed switch, and you can do managing from here your whole switch and your whole network. So this was the overview. That's it for today. Like and subscribe to my channel. Otherwise you will miss great content. And see you at the next one.